After life on the road for nearly a month, the Saints are back in Louisiana.
Chris Hagan has more from their first practice back at home.
The Saints make training camp in West Virginia their home away from home to eliminate outside distraction. But there's nothing quite like sleeping in your own bed.
We're all creatures of habit, and so these guys, in the next really 2 days are all getting settled into their routine here.
With their underwhelming performance in Houston Saturday, it left some wondering whether or not all of the travel affected their play. But they put that notion to rest today.
Every day is like a camp day for us, so we thinking of camp every day. So we definitely looking to get better, and I don't feel like it affected us as much.
I'm excited to be back here. I mean, we've been away for a while in West Virginia. It's good to be back home in the hometown and play in front of our crowd. So I'm excited to come Friday to be in front of them.
Still, life on the road has its benefits, especially for a somewhat young team still making a few adjustments to one another.
We can play through the pain. I think Coach has really emphasized that we want this to be a tough camp to train ourselves for the long duration of the season. And so whether it's taking on 2 teams in practices and then playing them the next day, or tackling in some of our preseason drills, it's been a tough camp so far, and so I hope that we can use that and carry it through the season.
While the black and gold make their return here to Airline Drive, one very recognizable face in their secondary does not. The West Bank's own Keenan Lewis no longer sporting number 21. Instead, it's Cortland Finnegan, acquired through free agency, who becomes the new resident veteran among the cornerbacks. Covering the Saints in Metairie, Chris Hagan, Fox 8 Sports.
And coming up at 10, despite Sean Payton's stated goal of winning preseason games, the team is avoiding an overreaction to starting 0-2. Sean Fazan will explain the mindset.
It was exactly 2 years ago tomorrow when the Saints last won a preseason game.
Has it been that long?
It has been that long, I know.
Oh,
The black and gold now have lost 7 straight.
Wow, but as Sean Fazan explains, while the preseason defeats have mounted, the Saints are working to get better, not panicking.
Never before has winning in the preseason been such a high priority for Sean Payton. So when the Saints lost their second consecutive preseason contest Saturday in Houston, naturally, frustration followed.
We've talked about going into these games, although there's a rotation and there's going to be some guys that you decide not to play. The object, obviously, is to finish.
But as bad as things appeared against the Texans, it's important to remember it is still preseason. The games don't count. And while some things are a legitimate concern, other things can be chalked up to typical preseason mistakes.
Well, the best predictor of what's to come is what you've been seeing, and so past performance is a good judge of that. And so there's some things that we can see and watch the tape and say, all right, we don't think this is going to, happen in the regular season, but there's some other things that need to be cleaned up.
So while overreaction may occur amongst the fan base, it can't creep into the locker room. Preseason is a time to learn, and there's still a long way to go.
I mean, I understand that it's a work in progress, and I'm thankful that those 2 games haven't counted towards our record, but at the same time, they do mean something. They may not count.
This week, Coach Payton says the Saints will start preparing for the Steelers a bit earlier than normal. It's also their 3rd preseason game, which means the starters will play their most amount of time this preseason. All in all, this is the game the Saints want to look the most like their regular season selves. With the Saints in Metairie, I'm Sean Fazan for Fox 8 Sports.
Tomorrow and Wednesday, practices at the Airline Drive facility start at 9:30 in the morning. Then Thursday, the team gets back to an afternoon schedule starting at 3:30. Remember, these practices are free and open to the public, but if it rains, the Saints will move indoors and those practices will be closed.
Fox 8 Sports is brought to you by AutoSmart. Be smart, buy smart.
Ability and potential are 2 things that'll keep you off an NFL roster, but repeated mental mistakes can bring a career to a crashing halt. Marcus Murphy's brief NFL career is teetering between the 2 right now, and the reason why? Slippery fingers while returning punts. It's happened in back-to-back games. Fumbles on returns. Against New England, he was able to scoop it up and bust off a huge return. But Saturday in Houston, his mistake led to the game's only touchdown for the Texans. Murphy's shown a lot of ability in camp and in the games, but Jim Henderson believes doing the little things right first will keep Murphy on this team.
And I almost think with Marcus Murphy right now, it's time to back off because the poor kid is so tight. He's shown his ability. He had the touchdown last year against Carolina with the punt return. He had the return last week, but after he put the ball on the ground again. And that's the last thing you want to see. You've stopped the team. You're ready to get your hands on the football offensively, and then he gives it away. That can't happen. The very first thing that you have to do as a punt returner is catch the ball.
Now, less of a headache this preseason, the defense. They played well despite the offense struggling to give them a break. And some questions are being answered in the secondary, like who'll take Keenan Lewis's spot on the island opposite Delvin Breaux. P.J. Williams continues to state his case, as Garland Gillen reports.
The NFL, a short-term memory is a must.
Now, big third down for the Saints defensively. Jump ball, corner of the end zone, touchdown, Houston.
Cornerback P.J. Williams got burned for an early score by Will Fuller to put the Saints behind 7-0.
On the touchdown, he outside released, and I was even with him, and he was able to get on top of me. So, and then I didn't locate the ball as good as I should have. So he was able to make a good play on me.
Williams erased the score from his mind quickly and caught redemption on a 4th down attempt.
Osweiler takes the snap, throws, and it's going to be intercepted.
Oh man, it was good feeling. I definitely wanted to come back and make a play to make up for that. So that was my goal, and definitely being able to do it was definitely a good thing.
Williams came into training camp as a primary backup, but with the release of Keenan Lewis, Williams now has a shot to start for the black and gold.
Every day I was taking baby steps to be able to get myself better and just not only be a good player on our defense, but a good player throughout the league. So I'm looking to get better for myself and definitely wherever I was going to be, just looking to help the team. So, and that's still my mindset.
With the Saints, Garland Gillen, Fox 8 Sports.